We humans are very curious to know the size and extent of the world. But it's not just the world that seems large to us, even though the human population is increasing day by day. And because of this population growth and the damage we are causing to our environment, the world is shrinking. But there are still humans who live in tribal ways. In this world, there are untouched forests, places where humans have not set foot, and also places where indigenous people live like early humans. Today, we are talking about 6 dangerous and forbidden places that no one dares to go to. Before watching this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Support us by liking this video and stay with the White Door channel in the future. The Forbidden Forest in Japan. In the Fuji mountain of Japan, there is a forest named Aokigahara. Its mystical and dark nature does not make it terrifying. Rather, the strange events that happen in this forest have caused it to be listed as one of the scary places. Domestic and international tourists come to this place for photography and spending time in nature. Those who come to this jungle are told not to deviate from the designated paths, because if they get lost, the peculiar vegetation cover of this forest makes it difficult for them to find their way, and no one can hear their calls for help. Some people, either by self-choice or accidentally, deviate from these marked paths and enter the depths of the forest. What gives these people the courage to leave these paths is that they intend to commit suicide. In Japanese mythology, this forest is known as the Suicide Forest, shrouded in fog and full of wandering spirits. After 2 characters from the novel Namu no Ki by Seicho Matsumoto committed suicide in this forest, it turned into a suicide spot. The entrance to Aokigahara Forest is full of abandoned cars brought by their owners to this place for suicide, and the presence of these abandoned cars illustrates the prevailing atmosphere of this forest. Instead of warning signs against littering and lighting fires being installed at the entrance of the forest, there are signs that say, "Please do not commit suicide. Life is a precious gift, and please think of your family as well." When you go deeper into the forest, you see things like trees with marks from being hit by stakes and messages of reproach to society inside them, or farewell notes written for family and friends. As you go further, you may encounter the bodies of people who have committed suicide in various ways. When officials search the dark and dense forest during daylight hours, they typically find at least one body. The Japanese government never officially announces the number of suicides in this forest, because this number is increasing every year. But the estimates range from 50 to 100 suicides per year. The Hidden Cemetery in Paris. In the late 18th century, the cemeteries of Paris had become very crowded, so it was decided to move some of the dead bodies into the tunnels underneath the city. It took 15 months to transfer all their bodies and skeletons to these underground tunnels, and eventually, this terrifying place was formed. The map you see is a map of the underground cemetery of Paris. As you can see, it looks like a spiral staircase. If you get lost here, you certainly cannot find the way out. This winding cemetery with nearly 6 million skeletons has dead ends. Although guided tours to visit the cemetery exist, many parts of the cemetery are closed to the general public. Some explorers enter the cemetery secretly. For this reason, even though a body is found in this underground cemetery once in a few years, after this direct information, let's move on to a video. This video includes events that happened to an unidentified person who went into this cemetery. In this video, recorded in the 90s, a man is trying to search alone in the cemetery. The man is seen wandering through the tunnels of the cemetery and is having a hard time breathing, not knowing where he is going. Apparently, he is lost in the spiral staircases of the underground cemetery. After a while of futile effort, he becomes desperate and throws the camera aside, quickly looking for the way out. After years, a person finds this camera thrown on the ground, and this film is found inside the camera. What do you think about this film that was taken? The mysterious island of Sentinel. One of the most famous tribes is the Sentinel tribe, who live on Sentinel Island in India. This tribe fiercely protects its borders and does not allow anyone to enter the area or familiarize themselves with its people. The people of this tribe have been living on Sentinel Island, located in the northern part of the Indian Ocean, for approximately 600,000 years. The existence of this tribe was first discovered in 1960, and since then, many have tried to establish communication with them. However, the natives have shown strong and violent reactions to any attempt to establish contact. When airplanes and helicopters attempted to land in their area, the tribe responded by throwing stones and shooting arrows. In 2006, some illegal fishermen came too close to the island's shore, and the natives killed them. As a result, the Indian government completely cut off communication with the people on this island and declared visiting the island forbidden. There is no accurate information about the population of this tribe, but it is estimated to be between 400 and 500 people. In the early 1990s, when a ship ran aground on the island's shore, the tribe attacked the ship to plunder metal tools and objects. However, the occupants of the ship killed all the native people with guns, which led to the natives' hatred towards anyone who intends to enter the island. The death route in Spain. The road we are going to talk about is a dangerous route located in El Chorro, near the city of Malaga, Spain. This road is known as the King's Path and runs along steep and relatively narrow and high walls. This road, called El Caminito del Rey, was used for many years without any maintenance and claimed the lives of dozens of people. The iron railings that were handcrafted along this route eventually deteriorated and fell down, causing some sections of the road to completely vanish. In the years 1999 and 2000, when 5 people lost their lives due to falling from this route, the government closed the path, despite being reopened after reconstruction. A few years ago, its reopening does not mean that this road is safe. Room 39, North Korea. As it is known, North Korea is the most closed country in the world, and no one can enter this country without permission. Those who manage to enter the country, after the necessary procedures, can only move around with military escorts. Unlike other countries, the use of the internet as a communication tool is prohibited, and the people are not allowed to use the internet. The only media that people are allowed to use in this country is television, but the government also has complete control over television. In North Korea, there is a place called Room 39, which is almost impossible to access. According to claims, activities such as illegal money, transfers from Switzerland, fraud, drug trafficking, and the country's nuclear activities are carried out in this room. Although North Korea denies all these claims, entering this room is dangerous and forbidden. Chernobyl disaster. The most dangerous thing in the world is this concrete sarcophagus located in the uninhabited city of Chernobyl. As you know, Chernobyl is the most dangerous city in the world because the nuclear experiment that was in progress on April 26, 1986 went partially wrong and a large explosion occurred. Immediately after this explosion, a large amount of radioactive materials spread throughout the world. 500,000 workers who were exposed to radioactive materials after the explosion lost their lives within a few years due to radiation poisoning. The cost of this disaster was estimated to be over $18 billion. And at the time of the explosion, every 31 people working at the nuclear power plant lost their lives. The radioactive materials that were spread over a very large area caused the death of many people. Due to the explosion at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, over 1 million people lost their lives. The remaining nuclear fuel in the 4th reactor melted, and everything in and around it also melted. This is the final result of the melted objects. These melted materials still contain radioactivity. And if you look at these melted materials containing radioactive elements for a few hours, you will be poisoned by radioactive materials. This melted material is called fuelaya, and despite its weight of 191 tons, It has spread over a few meters and is very hot. Mr. Sergei Kravchuk checks and controls this mass 12 times a month because the fuelia present in the depth of the reactor should not come into contact with water, as in this case, water would evaporate. After being released into the environment, it would pose a more serious threat. Kravchuk has been taking care of this monster for 8 years, like his own child. After Kravchuk's retirement, another person will be responsible for this duty. When Kravchuk was asked how long this situation would continue, he replied, "I think it will take a century for this situation to end. Ordinary people should not approach the 48-kilometer radius of the 4th reactor of this power plant." Thanks for sticking with me until the end. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.